it's Pete here and I'm back for another Seeing Through the Cards. Now, today what I wanted to talk about is deducing the opponent's line of play. Why are they trying to do what they're trying to do? So importantly, the first step of this is to break down, well, what are they trying to do? And this is a bit different for declaring versus defending, but you can actually do it for both. Now, the first, I'll take a look at defending. What I like to do is break down their line of play into three broad categories. Now, the categories that I like to consider are they trying to draw trumps and take finesses? Are they trying to draw trumps and run a long suit? Are they trying to cross trump or trump their losers there? And sometimes they can be doing both, or they might be doing one and then switch to another. That's fine. But these are the broad categories that I try and put them in, which are draw trumps and take finesses, draw trumps and run a long suit, and draw cross trump, not draw trumps. Maybe they draw trumps and then just trump their losers. But they're the categories that I want to try and put them in. Now, there's also an important way of, well, what should we be trying to do to counter that? Because often if you're ever lost in defense, if you can just work out what they're trying to do and then just counter it, that's fine. But also what you can do is, if you can see that you think they're doing this line of play, this will tell you what their hand will actually look like, and it'll guide you on the defense. But first of all, what's the general approach to try and counter all of these things? Well, if they're going to draw trumps and take finesses, what you want to do is be very passive, not lead away from any of your honors. You want to let them take all the finesses, because if they ever took a losing finesse, but you happen to have before that lead into those honors, they no longer need that. So you want to be very passive if they're going to draw trumps and take finesses. The second line of play, which is they're going to draw trumps and run a long suit, well, now they're not actually going to open up every suit. They're only going to be playing their main suits. They're going to discard an entire suit. Now we've got a sense of urgency where we need to actually play on a suit and try and get our tricks quickly. This is a time to be aggressive. We want to be leading away from our honors and get our tricks before they've had time to actually throw them away. And also, the third line of play, if they're going to just try and trump losers, maybe we draw trumps, even though we're on defense. It's worthwhile to try and do that. So again, if they're going to draw trumps and take finesses, be passive. This is probably the main one. Being passive is very underrated or underutilized. It's quite decent. Also, if they're going to draw trumps and run a long suit, you want to be aggressive, get your tricks pretty quickly. The next one is if they're going to try and trump their losers, we want to draw trumps. So these are the three main broad strategies that I try and do. And I try and categorize their line of play into those. Another important thing that I like to do, and this question you should be asking a lot, and I'll give you a few situations when it's really important to ask it, is just have in your mind, what should the opponents be doing? Whether you're declaring or defending, you want to be thinking, what should the opponents be doing given what you can see? So one example of this might be that dummy comes down with this pretty decent looking suit, but they don't play on it. Why don't they play on that? Well, a good indication of that is that suit combination in their hands isn't as good as you expect. Maybe the declarer's hand's really bad. Or if you're declaring, I use this a lot more, which is you can spot a suit that the opponents should be playing on, but they don't play on it. And why don't they do that? So you wanna be asking, what should they actually be doing? Now, one of the key times that you want to be asking this question as a declarer is you want to be thinking, can I play for over tricks? So sometimes you can spot that you've got your contract made and you want to be asking, can I be playing for over tricks? And to do this, you want to think, well, what should the opponents be doing if I let them in? How many winners can they take? What should they attack? And then I try and see, is there actually a gap between me cashing out my winners? Or if I let them in, they won't do that much damage. If there is a gap of tricks there, it means that you should be playing for over tricks there. Importantly, sometimes you think that, oh, they should attack one particular suit. They're going to build tricks in that suit. but that might take time. You might have stoppers there. So you want to be able to be aware of how much time you've actually got. Do you have the ace of that suit? Do you have the ace king and have 2 stoppers? So that's something that's really useful there. So once you've worked out what the opponent should be doing, whether you're defending or declaring, you want to be asking this question. And you let them in and they don't do what you expect. I often see people go, oh, that's interesting. Why didn't they do that? And they leave it there. You want to answer that question. So I like to build this expectation of what they should be doing and then try and see, well, why didn't they do that? Now, there are various options why they don't. So the first one is there's a better option that they can see that you didn't. Now, let's say that you're declaring the hand. They might not have done it because they've got a shortage and they're going after roughs. Or they might not have done it because they've got a really big trump stack and you're going to be running into a bad trump split. So they don't need to do this because they have another strategy. So one option that they didn't do it is they've got this better option available. And maybe you can work that out. And that is really important. The second thing is that maybe they just can't see it or it doesn't look good from their side, such as like how the honors are distributed, that they don't know that it's safe for them to do it. Third option is they just don't have the hand that you expect. Like maybe there's a very strange distribution, or maybe they have a lack of entries and they can't effectively do the attack that you think that they should be doing. And if you can work out which of those are actually plausible, you can actually piece together the hand quite a fair bit. Another sort of similar vein of situation that's worthwhile touching on, when you're defending no trumps, a very common thing that the opponent should do is holding up their ace. So let's look at, well, if they don't hold up their ace, why don't they do that? So there are a range of reasons why people might not hold up their ace. The first one is they've got more stoppers. So maybe they've got the ace king, or maybe they've got a deeper stopper and they've got extra tricks in that. And if they do a hold up play, they lose that. This is probably the most common reason. Another one is they've just got the rest of the tricks, like, or at least a hope of the rest of the tricks. That's probably not too useful for you, but it definitely can be happening. Another option is that they're just scared of a different suit. Like maybe there's a better suit for your side to be attacking. And if they hold up, they give you that opportunity. So they don't want to do that. Or the final one is they're just completely stuffed and there is nothing for them to do. Rather than and they just hope that you get it wrong. They see that the hold up play won't work and just don't even try for it. So they're the main reasons why people might not do hold up plays. And if you can piece that together, you can sort of place where the honors are. The final thing that I think is really useful is trying to locate missing honors based on which honor was actually played. And for this, what I recommend doing is just looking at when suits are played, and you don't know who has the king or the jack. Think, well, if I had that suit combination, what would have I done? Or if just like put yourself in that perspective and imagine that the missing honor is in one hand and also in the other, and actually see, does it actually matter? Would you have played this way if it was that? Or would you have played this way if it's the other way? A common situation is you can see an ace queen in the dummy and they lead up and they don't put the queen in. They go in for the ace. Now, there's a couple of reasons they might do this. The first one is they've got the king and they're just going to be playing back to the king anyway. A second common reason is they've got a singleton and they just don't need to take the ace now. There are more reasons than this, but they're the main ones. So if they play up to the ace, you're like, oh, I was expecting that they were going to take a finesse there. If they don't take that finesse, there's a good indication of what they can do. So examine those reasons. So what we'll do now is we'll take a look at some example hands and go over that. Okay, so here, let's just say we bid 1 spade and we bid 3 spades, we get 4 spades. All right, so here we got the 9 of spades lead and trying to read the lead. So One of the things I like to do is think, okay, they're trying to think what potential lines of play we might do given this auction. And there's no hard and fast rule about these. You just have to build your experience. But to me, this doesn't look like we're going to cross trump on this hand because it doesn't look like North's going to come down with a big fit and a side shortage. They do. They've actually got a singleton heart and two spades. We could trump a heart. Nothing in the auction says that that's going to be it. So to me, them leading a trump, I'm not sure they're leading a trump just because they want to be stop us cross-ruffing. To me, I think they're leading a trump just because they want to be passive. They think that this auction might be a hand where we're just going to draw trumps and take finesses. Turns out it's not. We've got this good side suit. Turns out we can trump hearts. We're going to be taking very few finesses here, but their first inclination was we were going to draw trumps and take finesses. So they just wanted to be passive. So the way that you can then follow up is, well, why are they passive with a spade? Why not be passive with a diamond or a club or a heart? And one thing that I often guess here is that they've actually got scattered values. They might have honors in hearts and clubs and diamonds, and spades was their most passive suit, and they didn't see any urgency to try and get try a different lead given this. Importantly, they also haven't tried for a better option. So in diamonds, we've got a big diamond fit. We've got 9. They haven't led a diamond. So I would be quite sure West doesn't have a singleton diamond. That would be a pretty good option for them to be trying to lead diamonds here. So we can piece together their hand a fair bit because of what they didn't do. Like, why did they choose that lead? I think leading a spade's pretty normal on this auction based on what we're trying to do. But then this auction doesn't ask for a trump lead. It asks for a passive lead in my mind. So the fact that they've chosen passively in spades means that they probably don't have great other passive leads. If we open it up, you can see what their overall hands actually look like. And here they've got the jack of clubs, they've got the king of hearts, they've got the king of diamonds. They don't have any shortage. The fact that they picked a spade lead can sort of tell you that sort of information. All right, so on to this next one. We're not going to do any bidding, so we're just passing. And here, partner led a heart, which again, this auction probably calls for, like, we don't need to rush to get anything. It doesn't look like they're going to do trumping. It doesn't look like dummy's going to come down with a good side suit. Dummy might be able to trump hearts, so maybe we want to draw trumps at some stage to try and limit that. There doesn't seem to be a great side suit, but maybe they can throw stuff on diamonds. So we might need to try and rush to get our tricks. But for now, we go in, and here they win the ace, and they go straight into drawing trumps. So one of the things I like to think is, well, why aren't they trying to trump hearts? Why, like, so if West had long hearts here, why haven't they tried to trump their heart losers? And one of the very obvious reasons is they don't actually have any heart losers. So here they have one heart loser, but they've got no more that they can actually trump. So you might be able to infer that your partner's actually got a 5th heart, because if West had 3 hearts, they might be considering, ooh, let's go trump that heart loser. They haven't chosen to do that. There's this shortage in dummy, and it looks fine to try and trump that heart loser. And to do that, they would win a heart, lose a heart, and then go about trumping it. They haven't done that. So what you can tell is either they don't have any heart losers to trump, or they have a better alternative. So that's how you can try and piece that together. Here, the bidding's clearly too high, so I'll pass. And we get the 10 of clubs lead. So here, the 10 of clubs lead could be from one of 2 options. Could be from, like, top of nothing, like maybe doubleton 10, 10, 9, 8, etc. But there is a world where your partner actually has an honor. They could have, like, king 10, 9, 8, queen 10, 9, 8. So they could be leading top of an interior sequence here. So if the partner had king 10, 9, 8 or queen 10, 9, 8, they'd still lead the 10 there. So here we play low and we see them win the king. So if we go back and look at the trick, Because of which honor they've actually won with, we can actually rule out that possibility of an interior sequence now. There is no way partner has led the 10 from king 10 9 8 because the king's been played. But importantly, we can also rule out queen 10 9 8. We know where the jack is. We know West has the jack. They haven't won the jack. Now, because they've won the king instead of the jack, if they just had the king and the jack, but not the queen, they would have played the jack here. They wouldn't be winning the king here. So straight away we can go, okay, partner definitely doesn't have queen 10 9 8. Even though that was originally a possibility given the lead, which honor people win with, you can think about what other honors there are and then go, okay, so I know West has the jack based on the 10. The queen could have been in either hand, but because of which particular honor West won with, now we would know where the queen is as well. And we know West has king, queen, jack. Now, importantly, if West won with the jack instead, from our perspective, it would actually look like our partner had led an interior sequence, queen 10 9 8. But if we jump over to our partner's perspective, they've led the 10 and it goes 10 low low jack. Our partner could work out that West had king queen jack because usually if they had king queen and jack, they would usually put on the highest card they've got just to try and hide information, even though it might not work. When they put on the jack, they didn't do that, but they know we didn't play third hand high. We didn't put in the king. We didn't put in the queen. We let the jack win. So they know where all the king, queen, and jack are. So whether they choose the king or the jack, our partner, one of us should be able to actually work out what the layout is there. And here we'll pass again. And our partner played a spade, so we get to win here. And this one I just wanted to illustrate hold-up plays. It's pretty awkward for what we want to do. Like diamonds would be okay, but the opponents have bid and raised diamond. That might give away our jack of diamonds. So we don't really want to try and do that. So the other option is we could just try and be passive in clubs and lead that. But maybe you try and lead hearts and build tricks in hearts. So here we lead a low heart. And it goes jack and they win the ace. Why would they do that? Why didn't they hold up the ace? So again, if we look at the reasons of why people do hold up plays, they do that to try and cut communication. Some of the reasons why they don't do that is, firstly, they might have all the rest of the tricks. Now we can see that's not the case. We've got the king of spades, the jack of diamonds is an issue. They don't have more hearts. So there's 3 suits with concerns there that we know they don't have all the rest of the tricks. They might be scared of a different suit, but like, which suit could they be scared of? They might be scared of partner going back to spades. That's probably something that they could be afraid of your partner doing. Maybe they're just completely stuffed. They know that the hold-up play won't work. Yeah, that really doesn't look like the case. A hold-up play would look fine. So the final option, which is pretty reasonable, is they've just got more stoppers. So if we open up all the cards, we might be able to place Declarer with the queen, because if they've got the queen, they've got the 10 over there, they have more stoppers in hearts. Whereas when we went low and the jack forced out the ace, we didn't know for certain who's got the queen. But there's a good indication that West actually has it because of this lack of hold-up play. Anyway, there are a few example hands of reading the opponent's line of play and what's that actually show you. So one of the key things I like to do is categorize their line of play. Are they going to draw trumps and take finesses? Are they going to draw trumps and run a long suit? Are they going to cross trump? And also how you try and counter them. Also, if you're declaring, you want to be thinking, well, what should the opponents be doing? What suits should they attack? And look at, if they don't do that, why doesn't that actually happen? So they're really important things to do. You can also locate honors based on which honor people actually play. So in that previous example, when they put in the king, we knew they had king, queen, jack. Whereas if they put in the jack, partner would have known they've got king, queen, jack. And we also touched on why they didn't do hold-up plays. So thanks all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this seeing through the cards, and we'll see you next time.